because there is no fuel, and there is a great damage in the infrastructure, and the authority here can't cope with the situation. It's too dangerous to go and fix anything. So people without electricity for days. There is only one place where there is electricity, which is Rafah, because Rafah has been connected to the Egyptian electricity network, and they are not taking the electricity from Israel. And also Hamas authority here is accusing Israel of cutting the 4 lines of electricity are coming from Negev and towards Gaza. Hamas is accusing Israel of cutting these lines. So there is no source for electricity at all in Gaza City or the middle camps or the north. There is only electricity in Rafah.
Okay, Rushdie, just before we let you go, Rushdie, just give us your assessment. Do you think, is it your impression that the Israeli ground operation on day 11 of Operation Cast Lead is spreading across more and more of Gaza? As you were telling us, tanks going into Khan Yunis today.
Yes, we have seen movement last night. There was in different directions. There was tanks are moving. They are in the edge of Zaytun. They are in the edge of Shijaiya area, where the most high populated area in Gaza is Shijaiya. We have seen tanks are operating right where people are living, in the edge of the place in Khan Yunis. There is tanks. There was the intensified shelling in the middle camps, and we have seen before the ground operation. Israel have intensified the artillery fire towards the place where they are going to do the incursion. People are believe that Israel might come with tanks in the heart of Gaza City, and I have met very people who believe that Israel will do it.
And Rushdie, as the operation, the military operation continues, we're still seeing Hamas firing these rockets into southern Israel. It seems that clearly, although the IDF, the Israeli military, their main aim is to stop that rocket fire, the rocket fire does continue.
Yes, because it's a long-range rockets, and they can fire it from everywhere. We almost have seen one of the rockets fired from the middle of Gaza City yesterday. So they are still capable to fire rockets in spite of all the damage in their infrastructure and all the restriction in their movements. They are still capable to fire rockets. And Hamas said that we have rockets can be enough to fire it for months, not days. That's what Hamas was saying yesterday in a press conference. And what we are seeing in the ground is that at the beginning of the operation, the number of rockets was really high. Like we have seen 60, 70 rockets at the beginning, but now we only see between 5 to 10 the average every day since the ground operation. And that means that there is extra pressure on Hamas. Forces are dividing Gaza. There is no supply to the militants who are firing from Gaza to get any supplies or rockets from the south or the north.
All right, well, Rushdie Abu Alouf, the BBC's Rushdie Abu Alouf, who's inside Gaza. Many thanks for bringing us up to date on the latest from inside Gaza. You can see just behind us that another impact has hit. Some white smoke just going up there from what looks like possibly an Israeli aerial or artillery attack there. Meanwhile, in terms of the casualties, well, the Israeli military are saying that since their ground offensive began, they have killed more than 130 Hamas militants. Now, as the diplomatic search for a solution, a permanent ceasefire continues, France's President Sarkozy is in Syria.
What about the children and the women?
As we were saying a little bit earlier, we can talk now to Lena Sinjab, our correspondent in Damascus, to try and get an assessment on those talks. Lena, what is your assessment? Do you think there's been any sort of breakthrough there at all today in Damascus?
Well, as the ceasefire is requested today, but we can see that the tension is still ongoing in Gaza and in Israel, but diplomacy is being optimistic today.
Why are there not reporters in there? Why can't we see what's going on in there? This is the frightening thing.
Optimistic that there will be a solution, an immediate solution to stop the violence, to cease fire, and
11 days, and ceasefire, it's a bit late.
On both sides, an immediate action should be taken, as President Sarkozy said, and all parties should be involved and responsible to pressure Hamas and Israel to stop rocket firing into Israel and to stop the attack on the Palestinians in Gaza. President Sarkozy mentioned in his press conference that he's relying on Syria's role to influence Hamas, but also relying on the Egyptian initiative, on the Turkish involvement in the situation, and also on a strong European involvement in finding a solution to this violence and to launch again into a peace circle rather than a violence circle.
What is your assessment on how much influence Syria and President Assad actually have
That's
over
funny.
Hamas?
After 11 days of hundreds of people being killed, a peaceful solution. Peaceful solution should have been done in the beginning, surely. Let's not just kill hundreds of people and then we'll find some peaceful solution to this. Oh, it's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing.
Political wing Khaled Mishal, and they can have a say with them. But the problem is that as the Israelis are
who are the terrorists today? Is it governments or is it these groups? I don't know. If you haven't got a government to support you and help, surely you have groups that are similar to governments.
And to open the borders
well, not political.
that has been under blockade for the last 18 months. We will see during the progress of the day and with the meeting that Egypt has invited for the Hamas leader how things will progress. But it seems from what we have sensed in the press conference today, there is some positive attitude towards the situation.
Okay, Lina Sinjab there in Damascus with the latest from those talks between President Sarkozy and Assad. Many thanks indeed. Before we go, let's just leave you with a last
is this not a war crime?
From
to just
Gaza down
go into another
we're about a mile from the border, and we've seen
country and attack it like
rising up along the skyline today. The Israeli attack, ground offensive continuing apace. Hamas firing more rockets that we've seen in the last hour or so into southern Israel. The latest casualty figures on both sides, according to Palestinian sources, 562 dead since Operation Cast Lead began, 2,700 injured. And on the Israeli side, 4 civilians killed by rockets and 4 Israeli soldiers killed, 3 of them in that friendly fire incident we were telling you about when an Israeli tank mistakenly opened fire on its own troops. That's the latest from the Israel-Gaza border for now. Back to you in London.
Depressing New Year's Day for Palestine.
Ben, thanks for joining us with that. Our team right across the Middle East is regularly contributing to our news website, giving you lots of background to the deepening humanitarian crisis there, also all the diplomatic efforts that are taking place. You'll also find a diary entry from an aid worker in Gaza describing just how an exhausted population is struggling to cope as the ground offensive continues. Some fascinating insights there, so do log on and read it. The address is on your screen at the moment.